Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Vivian Reed. Now, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like. You have to like. Don't be coming up with all this mess. Say nice things, okay? Now, my show is all about show business and every aspect of it. And today we are going to be discussing directing and acting and what this particular director expects from you when you come to an audition, and also as an actress, what she expects from you when you're on the stage with her. Because there are things that you should and should not do. So I welcome Miss Angela Gibbs. Hey, Angela.
Hey, Miss Vivian.
I'm so glad you're here. Now, this is for young people
Yes.
to get ideas and to find out what they should and should not do. So just let me put this question to you.
Okay.
As a director, when actors are sent sides, they don't know what the script is. They don't know the story. So they basically have to look at that dialogue and actually make up their minds what choices they're going to make and how they deliver the lines.
Absolutely. Yeah. To quote someone who I love so much, a good friend, Regina King, because I coach actors as well. And I was sharing this quote with one of the people I was coaching. She said, even when I know the backstory, I create my own backstory. Now, sometimes I get scripts and I can read the whole thing. And even still, I need to fill in the gaps. However, most of us, most times get sides. And like you said, there are 2 or 3 scenes, or maybe one scene, maybe four lines. How do we deliver? There's 1,000 ways to deliver. So how do you land on what your delivery or your choice is going to be? Backstory. People don't always want to do the homework. They grab the line, and if it says, what are you doing here? They're already in their minds. We all, as actors, we have a judgment we immediately put on the line. What are you doing here? And then it's hard to get out of that choice because we made that choice before doing the work. And the work is backstory. Okay, this scene, I am arguing with a guy who came to the door. It looks like he must be my man or my baby's daddy. And I don't want him here, right? Well, I got to do backstory. How long were we together? How do we meet? How old is the baby? Why am I angry with him? Did he cheat on me? Did he just get out of prison? Did he steal from me? Like, what? Do I love him? And his family doesn't like me. I've got to create that backstory.
Hold it right there, Angela. This is just what I say to my students. You don't have the luxury of calling up a director saying, "How you all want this scene? I just want to make sure that I make the right choice." You don't have that luxury. So
That's right.
You have to create a backstory. Now, it could be totally different from you, Angela, what the decision you've made for that particular scene. But I think the important thing is that the actor has to make a choice, create a backstory,
Yes.
make a choice, and be convincing. You might turn that director's mind around on what he or she thought for the scene.
Absolutely. Case in point, I want to, and something you just said, you have to make a choice. Now, I had a teacher that said, make 3 and make 1 just totally wrong. And when I coach, I tell actors, just do it wrong. After we've worked it out and worked the backstory and beats, and we'll talk about beats in a moment. When I say do it wrong, they always do it perfectly. It is wonderful because what happens? They're free.
Yes.
So, one thing I want to mention, and we'll go back to it, but I want to tell you this little story, is trying to do it right is death to an actor.
Yes.
Forget, there is no right.
Mm-hmm.
And just what you said, the director may have something in mind and you come in and you do something different and they go, wow. At the same time, have a second choice so that if he or she gives you an adjustment, you're not doing the same thing. So I've had actors go, what are you doing here? And I'm like, okay, now you miss him and you love him and you want to give him some. What are you doing here? I'm like, I didn't see no difference. I didn't see no difference. Well, now you love him. What are you doing here? Now you mad. What are you doing here? It's the same, because they're stuck. They've made a choice and they think their choice is precious. And they are holding on to that choice and are not flexible anymore, you know.
Okay, but wait a minute, Angela. This takes us back. For the viewers, I had the honor of Angela directing me in a short film. And she was just absolutely wonderful. We made up a story, and I really wanted to be opposite of the way I'm usually cast. So I ended up playing a bag lady, a homeless person in this short film. Now, there was another actress who was absolutely fabulous. I'm not going to call her name out. We don't call names in these. But we got to point out the difference between actors in musical theater. When a director in musical theater says, okay, I like the way you did that, but I need you to do it this way. You got to change on a dime, baby. We ain't got no time for you to process that shit. You got to change on a dime. Well, we doing this film, and we had done this scene. Angela told her, this was lovely. What you did was lovely, but I need you to do it this way. I need you to try it this way. She couldn't do it right away. We had to stop.
Right.
I think we stopped for about a half an hour, didn't we?
So you could process.
Wait a minute. And so we go into this area is like the green room area. So we sitting down, and I see this actress go into the room, and I'm laughing. I'm kind of smiling because I know she's processing. So when she comes out, she looks at me, and I have this smile on my face. So she says, "You think this is funny, don't you, Vivian?" I said, "Hell yeah, this shit is funny." I said, "In theater, baby, we ain't got no time to process." When he said, I said, I'm gonna give you an example. And she's looking at me. I said, "Okay, let's say I'm talking about something in the garden. Oh, look at those beautiful flowers in the garden. Don't they look lovely? Oh, I just love how they're blossoming and all of this." And then the director says, "Miss Reed, we're ready for the killing scene." "Okay." "I will kill you." She said, "How the hell can you do that?" I said, "We have no choice in musical theater." Back to what you were saying, how do you deal with that? Because there are method actors, there are, some process, how, as a director, what do you do? Because time is money.
Well, what we do is we don't hire that person.
But at the time after you've hired them, you don't know.
Now, if you got them, and this is, I've heard stories, where one actor saw somebody else showing up on set that looked just like them. I mean, close, and they knew they were about to be replaced. You know what I mean? What I try to do, what I do is I improv with them. Let's forget the words, because you're trying to make these words precious. We got to remember, they're no longer words on a page. They're your words. They're coming through you, through your character. Why is your character saying them? What does your character need? What does your character want? Right?
Yes.
That's why they're saying these words. And so if you're trying to get the lines down and then make a choice and then hope it's right, and you're trying to do what they want, you haven't opened yourself up to a world of possibilities. You haven't played, you haven't, with musical theater, you all really get to stretch your talent, right?
We have no choice.
Yes, you're right. That's right. You got to do it like that. So in film, and I have to say this, the camera always tells the truth. I always tell people, camera's your best friend. It's your most interested listener. So you know how you can go to a friend and go, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm good." And you're like, "No, you're not. You're not good." That's the same thing with the camera. The camera knows when you're lying. So you must make choices that are honest. Acting is being truthful under imaginary circumstances. And we must play. So my best answer is, I'm going to give the actors who are interviewing, I'm going to give them adjustments. Just to see if they can take direction. Mm-hmm. If they seem stuck, they're not going to get hired, right? If I unfortunately get one, I'm going to improv and do my best to expand their vehicle, and to get them to trust me and to play. And if I can't, then I have to cut around them. And you know what? You don't hire them again. But most of the time it takes place in that room. And I've seen actors, even with coaching, I've coached actors and they were this close to getting it, but they just were so new that they got in there and still tried to please the director and do it right. And then I've had like the young man who played Tupac. At day one, one of the things I asked him was, if Tupac was an instrument, what instrument would he be? And he said the drums. I said, talk to me as Tupac as a drum. He was like, huh? What? You know, and he was like, I'm like, okay, I don't quite believe that. Then he went in, right? And I knew if he can take his imagination and go there, then I got somebody I can play with. Happy birthday. All kind of improvs to open them up to trust and then play, because that's where the magic is, right? But I want to tell you this quick story. So I was reading for...
Yeah, I want to hear stories. Tell me some shit.
Straight out of Compton, which I played Ice Cube's mom. Well, I went in and the line was, that's my son. Okay, I look over there, I see the police, and I said, that's my son. And the police says, ma'am, get back on your porch, or I'm gonna make your night a living hell, something like that. So first of all, I can't just come out and say, that's my son. Where am I coming from? What was I moment before? What was I doing? So I just said to myself, I'm in the kitchen cooking, I'm hearing noise. My son is late from school. Let me look out the window. Oh my God, there's police cars. I come rushing out. So that I brought that inner life into the scene. Oh, you know, and then I don't see him right away. There's police, there's people. So I come out looking, and then that's my son, right? That's my son. And he says, get out, but get back on your porch. Girl, I have a son. And my thought was, not today. I'm not leaving my son there where you all can do whatever you want to do with him and go back on the porch. So I didn't move. So the casting director kind of like got in my face, and I moved back an inch or two. And she said, I said, get on your porch. And I said, this is my property. And that's my son over there. So she said, okay, thank you, Angela. And I remember leaving. She said, I guess everybody ain't scared of the police. And I said, I'm not leaving my son, right? I was so in the truth of it. So I leave, and I'm Vivian. I said, well, you didn't get that one, you know, because I did not, I went off script a bit. I'm not saying that that's something you should always do, but I was in the truth of it, and I could not help myself. I was upset. Yes. And, you know, having a son, I just kind of took myself there, girl. Next thing I know, I get a call back. I walk in the room, the director, F. Gary Gray, is sitting really close to me. And they said, let's do that scene again. I said, and this is one thing I want to share with the actors listening. If you get a call back, don't go in there doing something totally different than what you did that got you the call back, right? Absolutely. You can enhance that, you can deepen it, but do not, well, I'm gonna show them something different. They're gonna be like, what? So I went in, did the same scene, same way, always adding something, and try to always keep it fresh, right? So I did it, and then I said, would you all like to see something else? And her name is Doris. And he said, no, Doris, I think we saw everything we need to see. And I was like, so when I walked out, I said, did he just call me Doris? I think I got the part. Got the part. Found out that day I had the part. And
you were fabulous. I saw you in it, and you were absolutely fabulous. But let me just say this. You were coming from a truth that basically, in that scene, a Black woman would know.
Yes.
Was the casting director white?
She was a Black woman.
And she didn't get it?
So she was trying to get what they wanted, but I will give her this. I love that she got in my face and was like, I said good. She was trying to get what she thought they wanted, you know, and or just maybe to see where I was going to go with it, right? She casts a lot. She's really good, and I'm feeling really bad. But I'll look up her name real quick. I forgot But the thing is that she. And you know what? All women aren't mothers, and they haven't seen a gun pulled on their son, right? And so they're going by the script, but I've seen a gun pulled on my son.
Yes.
But in Beverly Hills, the policeman had rifles pulled on my son, and for no reason, absolutely no reason. And I will say this, there was a white cop that actually saved him because he kept screaming, wrong guy, wrong guy, wrong guy, wrong guy. And in the meantime, I was about to lose it. And You know, it's that moment where you don't know, do I move? Do I breathe? What do I do? Right. And so I had something to pull back on. And that's the other thing too. We also want to see if we can make the scene personal. So
Okay,
that we're connected to it.
stop there before you say, I tell my students, even when they're musical theater selections, you have to find, dealing with the lyrics of the song, just the lyrics, that song or the sides, if you're dealing
Right.
with going in that, has to have a meaning for you. It has
Yes.
to have a meaning. You just can't go
Has to.
off or into an audition. You can't start singing and not know. And every time I have asked, I mean, they know better now because they know I'll ask them in a second. In 3 minutes, and three sentences, tell me the gist of the song. What does it mean to you? And they'll
Yes.
go grab the lyrics. I didn't ask you for the lyrics. I could pick up the sheet music and read the lyrics myself. What does a song mean to you? And I usually use God Bless a Child as an example. You could take God Bless a Child and give it to 10 different great performers, and they could all come out with a different meaning, but nonetheless, it is a meaning. You have to have a reason for singing, for acting. Right. Any scenes, you have to have a reason. And when I said a while ago, okay, was the casting director a white woman?
And it was Vicki Thomas, by the way.
Oh, okay.
She's
in every ethnic group, there are things that another ethnic group cannot identify with. Like our sons, our Black sons being shot in the back. That's something that is so prevalent, so much in our race. And then you have a son,
right?
That happened to, not shot in the back, but came close, right. Maybe.
Could have been, right?
Could have been. Woo. And so you were pulling on that. And so when there is something that we can pull on, because, bottom line, no matter what we do on the stage or in film, in movies, television, it's all about truth.
Yes, Vivian. If we're not being truthful, and if we're not being truthful, then what story are we telling? We're telling a lie. We're lying, right? And if you're lying, I'm going to get pulled out as the audience because I don't feel you. I'm not connected to anything. It's the same thing as like with crying. Some actors think, well, if I can cry, I can really act. Well, what do we do when we are getting ready to cry in real life? We try not to. Mm-hmm. So when you see an actor trying not to, all of a sudden the audience is crying because their humanity has been tapped because they know that's what they do. And so now we're connected. And even with the actors, I got another story recent. I won't mention the name, big actress, was in a series that I was coaching on and had earplugs in her ear listening to music while the scene is going on.
No, she didn't.
Another actor said, where's the music coming from? But her hair was covering it. And we realized she had and he was like, she wasn't even listening because in her mind, and I don't know, whatever coaching she was doing, I wasn't working with her, was the music had to get her in a mood, and then she was going to do it this way, and then she was going to do it that way, and this is somebody has a name, and I'm not going to blast her, but I have to tell you, her performance in this particular show was not what it could have been.
Because she's listening to music
and not being one-to-one. It's a one-to-one connection.
Yes,
it is moment to moment. One of my teachers gave an example of the scene. And there's a woman that's sneaking in the room and going to surprise, she's sneaking on her, she thinks her husband's on the phone with another woman texting. So she's going to sneak in and catch him. But when she opened, this is a stage, when she opened the door, it creaked.
Oh God.
She act like it didn't happen. And the guy who she's sneaking up on act like it didn't happen. And the audience, they lost him because it's like, well, you ain't sneaking up on me. I heard the door creak. you know, what do you do in those moments, right? What do you do? But what you do, and the truth is that that was some magic that was given to them, and they didn't know what to do with it, right?
Yes.
I was on the stage with Ed Cambridge and some folks, girl, and I came in doing what was it? Ceremonies of Dark Old Men. I come in and I'm mad at these men who are playing chess all day, and I'm only one working, and the house, you know, the place is a mess. It's a barbershop. And I opened the refrigerator to get a Coke, not stage. So the refrigerator is not cold for real, right? I grabbed the Coke, slammed the door. You all are not even doing it. Open the Coke bottle, girl, and the Coke shot off.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Because it had been hot. And so when I took the top off, it went everywhere. And you heard the audience go, ooh. The audience was like, what's she gonna do, right? And in that moment,
so what did you do?
In that moment, girl, I said, shit, you know, which wasn't in the script, but I was like, shit, and I grabbed the paper, the rag, dish rag, and I threw it at one of my brothers. I said, clean this mess up.
Good.
Because they hadn't done anything. And then I walked out, right? One of the actors in the back was like, you know, like, oh, we were waiting to see what you were gonna do. In the moment, in the moment. If you are honest and you've done your homework and you know who you, all I knew was that these three, my father and my two brothers, played chess all day while I worked. And I was sick of it, right? And I was really, you know, there. So that when that Coke did that, and they're looking at me, I'm like, yeah, y'all clean this mess up. You know?
That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
You have to think, but you know, here's something else that we haven't just talked about. You come from musical theater. I come from theater. I think theater is the best training ground of all.
Yes.
It's right there in the moment, in front of the audience. It's intimate. And
yes.
If you make a mistake, you got to work it out right then. Right then and there.
I remember we were sitting in the car after, I think is when we were finished with the short film, and you looked at me and you said, so what research did you do to come to that, the way you were delivering that role? I said, nothing. I said, there are degrees. If you can remember this conversation, I said, there are degrees of homelessness. I remember. And I went to degrees. I said, so I decided to make her totally insane.
Right.
And then you said, you just did it. We have no choice as of, you know, I mean, in film or as straight acting.
You also said, listen, I see homeless people in New York.
That's right.
I see them. So you knew your homework.
I just went right there. Of course, when you sent the script, I looked at it and I absorbed it. Right. You know, and then I had to make some choices. Right. But okay, so let's deal with you in say a play, just a play, no film or anything. What if an actor, like the director has taken you, you're not the director, you're under a director at this point. So you're functioning as an actress. And the director has given you all staging and everything. And so the next day when you come in and say this particular scene is with another actress or actor, and that person isn't doing any of the staging that was given the day before, because perhaps they did not do their homework, they went home and did not rehearse. Right. After that goes on for a couple days with this person, what do you do?
You know, that's a very good question, because as an actor, unless you're a star where you can say, I'm not working with them, you are in a quandary about how do I move forward? So what I would do, I've been fortunate, I have not had that experience, right?
Okay.
Or there was one time, well, let me take that back. There was one time that I went to the actor first. And I said, do you want to run lines? And they were like, okay. I was fortunate because I know they're like, no, I don't want to run. But they said, yeah, okay. And as we were running them, I said, I was thinking, it's psychology. I was thinking that you and I knew each other before. And I just started giving them what my backstory was. But what do you think about? I was asking it in a way where I'm fortunate because I'm a coach too. I was asking in a way where they didn't feel offended. I wasn't telling them what to do. You can tell them, and then what you're going to do is lose them because they're going to say, well, you're not the director, right? But I also, when the director came back and talked to us, I said out loud to the director in front of the actor, aren't we in this point supposed to be angry with each other? Because I feel like we're not getting there.
Aren't you subtle? That was subtle.
Yeah, right. Aren't we supposed to be angry right now? Because I'm not. And then I looked at him and I said, if you want me to pull away from you, you got to make me want to pull away from you.
You said that to the actor?
To the actor. Mm-hmm. I said, I right now, I don't feel like there's any reason to pull away from you. And then we got there, got better. But the director said to him, she's killing it. That the directors ain't supposed to necessarily do this, but he did. He said, she's killing it, and I don't know what you're gonna do, but if y'all were married for real, you wouldn't get no more. She wouldn't give you none. And I fell out laughing. He said, because I ain't seeing no manhood in here, right? So I will put somebody on blast. I will try to deal with the actor first, and then I will go to the director and say, I don't know, I'm not getting what I need. Is there something that you can say to them, or can you talk to both of us? Can we rehearse it? But I feel like, and usually, you know, I've been at this a long time. So, you know, I'm not being a diva, like I just don't like them. I don't have a problem with anybody if they're doing their work, right? Yes. And so this particular actor pulled it together. So I haven't had that problem since. But what I would suggest is, especially if someone's new, is maybe go to the director first, right? And say, I feel like I could do more in this scene, but I don't know if I'm getting what I really need. Do you feel like I'm getting what I need? You know, or is there something you can say about you? Can we rehearse? Can you rehearse us together? And then what you're doing is you're enrolling the director in solving the problem, right?
Well, I will tell you this. This was with another big star, and we had a duet to do in this particular. It was a book musical, and I got to the rehearsals late because I was doing a show at Rainbow and Stars. So, in this duet, she wasn't singing out, and this went on day after day after day. And I've got a big voice, and my intent when I go on the stage is to kill.
Yes.
You best do your homework, because if you think I'm going to back to accommodate your laziness in this role, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in a million years. So I basically went to the musical director. And I think I went to the director. I went to both of them. And I said, okay, I need to know what's going on with her because she's not singing out. And I need to go so I can see how we're going to do this duet together, so I can hear our blend. So obviously they spoke to her that night because the next day she was singing out.
She was singing out. That's
another instance I'll give you, and this is another big star. We were doing a concert. I'm not going to say where because a lot of people might figure it out.
Right.
But we're doing this concert, and this lady and I, wonderful performer, we had a duet. Well, all the rehearsals, she wasn't putting in the work, and then we get there, and she couldn't remember her lyrics. She was marking, just nothing. So now we get to the Sitzprobe, which is the run through with the orchestra. And this one entrance, after I sing my part, she's supposed to come in, and she didn't come in, and she did this 3 times. And this is after just messing up on everything. So the musicians got upset. So there was a meeting afterwards. They had a meeting with her. I was not there. I don't know if I would have said this, but I'm just telling you what someone said who was at the meeting said that the director said. Let's call her Mary. Mary, have you ever done a show with Vivian? And Mary says, no, I have not. Well, you should know that if you don't get your act together, she's going to wipe up that stage with you. And the next day at the Sitzprobe, she had it all together.
Yep, that's right. And let me mention this too. You just said something that made me think. There's a thing about, I was coaching on a show and the sound people kept coming to me and saying, can you ask them to speak louder? Can you ask them to speak louder? And so I'm going back there and we can't hear you. And you know, there's little things like you're drinking water, don't put the cup down while you're saying your line. Well, that actors, we all can make that mistake, but they're mumbling. So then
Mumbling, girl.
so then the sound tech woman told me, she sent me an article. She said, this is rampant. A lot of these new stars and new actors, they come out and they're talking like this and everything is inside my. Well, if I can't hear you, guess what? You lost me. I don't care about the scene.
That's right.
I don't care about you. I don't care about the scene because now you're talking to yourself. You don't want, obviously you don't want me in the scene, right? And so I was telling the actors this, I said, I don't care. You can be acting your behind off. If I can't hear what you're saying, I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to go to the bathroom, get some popcorn. I'm going to do, you've lost me, right?
Are you talking now as a director?
As a coach and a director, I was telling them, what are you doing? So I wanted to share with you, you're talking about singing out. We go through the same thing with acting. You must, you know, when we came up, we had to do tongue twisters and mouth
all
exercises. Of that. We should still be doing that. This is our instrument. Yes. You know, even there's a stage whisper, there's a movie whisper, and yes, they have sound on us, so we can say, "Are you?" But
you still have to project. You still have to project.
You must project. So I just wanted to amen that. Not only as a singer, but as an actor. What do you know, we grew up saying people in the back row who paid tickets.
That's right.
They need to hear you. Well, on film and television, they're going to have sound on you, but still they need to hear you articulate. They need to hear what you're saying. So do not fall into the trap of whispering. Sometimes actors feel like if they speak loud, they're not being truthful. They just got to keep pushing through that until they do feel truthful. Don't go quiet. Don't mumble.
You know, this is so true because they think that if they're not speaking very softly, it doesn't sound natural. Well, if that is your problem, then that's what you work on. What I used to do is I would just read a book with dialogue. I just read a book, and so I could get used to my voice.
Yes, yes.
Listening to my voice and everything. I mean, girl, I tell the story all the time. In the beginning, because I started off as a classical singer, that's my forte, and then a dancer, and then acting came third. And I was so, I'm going back years, but girl, it was a time, I was so nervous when it came to straight actor, because where's the bass now? Where's the drums? Oh, what? I got to say something. What? Are you kidding me? And so, and I would call up one of my girlfriends who did acting all the time. She had to hold my hand. So Chuck Patterson, that's who I was trying to think of a few days ago. Chuck Patterson said, Vivian, if you could only treat your acting like you do when you're delivering a song. He said, there is no difference. Nobody delivers a song better than you. You make those lyrics come alive. He said, treat your acting. And I got it. One day I just got it. Thank you. But you know, the joy for me is getting a role. And for those of you young people, those of you watching, understand that if you're not in this business because you love it, really, don't be in this business.
Don't be in
because the joy that you get, even if you take something that's not paying a lot of money, the thing is, you took the job, so you should give it everything that you would give if they were paying you a lot of money.
That's right.
So my thing is, if you love it, then you eat, breathe, and sleep it. You wake up in the middle of the night wondering, what were those lyrics? What was that dialogue? What were those steps? Where did the director say go? To me, that's the joy of this business.
It is. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I know we have to go soon, but I want to make sure that I want to share this with you. You know, my mother, you know, is Marla Gibbs on the Jeffersons.
Fabulous actress.
Thank you, 227. And I'm going to give her a shout out. She's getting her star finally on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in July. My mother started in this business at 44. People thought she was younger because she looked, you know, my stuff didn't really hit until I was in my 50s. And I had been acting a long time. And I had thought, well, maybe this isn't for me, right? but Vivian, I loved it. I mean, I did stuff all along the way, but I wasn't really making the living that I wanted to make, right?
Yes.
And I had to do part-time. I always had great jobs, you know, and those jobs would always try to get me to say full-time. Usually I'm directing a project coordinator, and they're like, we want you full-time, but you can't audition. And
No.
I would go from, I'm done with this business, I quit. Oh, I have an audition? Oh, okay, you know. Okay. And then I've walked away from lots of money on a job because I just couldn't leave it. And so finally I heard this older woman say this, who was on a TV show, but she said she had her day also. And she said, I gave myself permission to just love it. And what come what may, if I have to get a part-time job, so be it. If I struggle, so be it. I'm here because I love it. Vivian, you have just given them the best advice ever. I stuck because I had no choice.
And you're doing great now. The films that you have done, just everything that you, as an actress, as a director, because I see you all the time, and not only just film, but you've done television, you've done commercials. I mean, it's amazing. Your career is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And you know what? I stuck it out, stayed here, never quit. I keep studying. I'm in a class, or I'm in a play, or I'm getting coached. I do believe that you continue to fine tune your instrument, you know, and stay open.
And let me ask you this, just one final thing. What should actors wear when they come in for something straight, or for a film, for a television? Because I mean, I've seen craziness like the stomach exposed and the skirt up to their yin yang. I'm like, what?
What are you doing? Right. Have you studied the character?
So keeping that in mind, give some parting thoughts or advice to young people watching.
Okay. All right. So if you're going to audition for a role, as Vivian and I were talking about earlier, you really want to do your research and know who this character is. And then you want to dress accordingly. If you're going in there because you think sexiness is going to get it, or if you think, your new tattoos and all your muscles, and you're going to show your muscle shirt, but he's supposed to be a wino, or he's supposed to, be something other than the guy walking around with muscles, forget the muscles. Forget that. Come in, and what you're selling really is your talent.
Yes.
And you're bringing your humanity in there. And if you're coming in there trying to, dazzle them with your outfit, dazzle them with your hair. I've seen women take pictures with fur on and hair covering their face. Who's going to hire them for what? We don't even see you. Here's the big, so you come in and you share your talent, your gift. You try to be as, like a canvas. I always say, don't come in with words, art and all that kind of stuff on your shirt. Find a simple shirt.
Keep it simple.
So that they're not looking at that, they're looking at you.
Keep the makeup simple too.
Keep the makeup simple. Hair, pull it back. Let us see your face, something else. Oh yeah, makeup, hair, clothes, nothing that's going to take away from what you're there to do, which is to share your talent, to make this character come alive, right? Also, don't overdo it. And casting directors will say that. You got doctors coming in with the doctor thing, the hat, the scrubs, the stethoscope, scrubs.
Because they're dressing and trying to be like the character.
And it's going overboard. Scrubs are enough. Just come in with scrubs. You don't have to have the stethoscope and the hat and So again, simple, where they get to meet and see you, and your instrument shines because you're not distracted by all the stuff you've got on and all the tattoos you've got on and you have and all of that. Another thing is I want to warn some of these young people that want to get tattoos in their face and all over their hand and all over their arms. I just went out for something where they said, do you have any visual tattoos? You need to be the canvas. If they want tattoos on you, like the young man who played Tupac, who ended up killing that role, they tattooed him up so that he could have
Mhm.
this too, but watch that. Watch you doing things to your body that's going to stand in the way
Well,
of, if you love this, right?
yes, that's what I was getting ready to say. Think about this seriously before you do it. Because if your intent is to try and make a great living in show business, and it is difficult, there's no joke about it. Show business is a
That's why you
very
must love
difficult
it. That's
business.
right.
You must love it. Then I would think three, four, five, six, seven, 1,000 times before you get that tattoo.
I would too. I would too. I absolutely. And listen, I like that too. I got one hidden right now.
You do?
Nobody,
Girl, what kind of tattoo is that?
can't nobody see it.
Ah, oh Lord, scared of you.
Right. That's right. But watch, that's exactly, because your body is your canvas. And another thing I want to just mention real quick, people are doing self-tapes. A lot of people are doing self-tapes now because of COVID. Find a wall that's blank. Don't have anybody else in the scene. Keep it right here, just at chest level and just above the head. I cannot tell you, I've got people that would got their friends in the scene. They've got a bookshelf behind them. They're outside.
Wait a minute. I'm so glad you brought this up. There is a teacher that told his class, and I'm not going to tell you where. He told his class that because he's teaching, I think straight acting. He told his class that when they send in self tapes, they were to look at the camera.
No.
I said, "What?" Because one of my students told me. I said, "Listen,
No.
the only time you deal with looking at that camera is when you slate. That is the
Thank you.
only time
Yes.
that
Yes.
you look at that camera." Can you believe? But see, ooh, girl, I wish this could go. We may need to do part 2 on this crap.
Let's do part
Because
2.
let's do part 2, and we're going to start with that. Okay, we're going to
Yes.
start with
Oh
that
my
because that's a
God.
whole nother thing. Baby, I am so
Please don't
glad.
look at the camera. Please
Please
don't
don't
look at the camera.
look at the
Now, what
camera.
you do is you put the person that you're talking to that's in the scene next to the camera. You don't want your face to be that way,
Oh,
but looking
Lord.
at the camera is going to make this casting director say, okay, they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Having all this stuff in the background. Okay, like right now, if I was doing a self-tape, I wouldn't have this in the background. I have a piece
Exactly.
of gray. You know.
Yeah, I have great
simple.
paper. I have great paper.
I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. That's right. I do too. So absolutely, there's just so much to this business. But some of the things that are takeaways I hope that they have that we've been talking about is do your homework.
Yes.
Know that there are a lot of choices, but once you do your homework and your backstory, and you know who you are, the choices start to come in because you know what you want, right? And then be available for an adjustment. 2, you want to love what you're doing.
Oh.
Love what you're doing, because the road from A to Z is not always straight. You may have to do this, do that. But that's saying, if you stay in line, your turn will come. So just keep studying, stay in plays, stay in the class, keep going out for auditions. If you love it, it will come to you when the time is right. The universe is in charge, right? We just want to be ready. When the bus pulls up, we want to have correct change so we can get on the bus.
And also, too, they want to make sure you have to understand it's always about type. You could have given the greatest audition in the world, but if you're not the type that they're looking for, you really can't take that personally.
You can't,
because everything boils down to type.
That's
if you
right.
delivered and type.
I've lost roles because a star decided they wanted it. I've lost roles because some studio owed a star the role, and I've had the director and them come to me and say, we wanted you, but we had to do that, right? I've lost roles because they went with a younger husband, so they needed a younger actor, had nothing. And then I ended up getting another role later because they loved what I did in the room, but I wasn't the right type. And so that's why I go back to that, trying to do it right. If I go in there trying to do it, I'll tell you one more quick story. This is hysterical. This was years and years ago. I was understudying Felicia Rashad. They wanted me to understudy Felicia Rashad. And what did I do? This was a good lesson for me. I went in there trying to give them Felicia Rashad.
Wait a minute. You were literally trying to... No, Angela,
I wanted to do it the way she would have done.
Yes.
I was in my 30s, maybe early 40s. I was and I hadn't worked in a while, and I was feeling like I was missing something. And just this is the last thing I leave them with: you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Show up. You show up with your talent. And so, as a result, they never met Angela. They met Angela trying to give them Felicia. And they were like, thank you. And I left out of there like, what just happened?
What?
Great. I hate to tell
How did you, I mean, did someone tell you that was a mistake that you made? How did you realize it?
I realized it because after halfway through the second scene, they were like, thank you.
Thank you and goodbye. We'll call you.
And I was like, wait, but I'm getting ready to cry. Girl, listen, it was such a good, it was a humbling experience, but it was such a good, and I had done some pretty decent work prior to that, but then there had been this long stretch, and I moved from Atlanta to LA, and I wasn't getting anything, and I thought, oh, I just got to go in here and be somebody else. You are enough. Listen, I'm working, I have a wonderful career now. So that lesson back there, it was a great lesson, because I realized when I walked out of that room, they hadn't met me.
Yeah, and we need to make mistakes in order to know what to not do the next time.
That's right.
Mistakes are sometimes good. So, because if none of us ever make mistakes, then we just wouldn't know. So,
we wouldn't know.
So listen, baby, thank you so much.
Right,
this was so invaluable. Oh, this was so fun. We have to definitely do part 2.
Let's do part 2, please. I would love, first of all, I love talking to you, but I also really love what I do. And I love, there's so many young folks coming here getting the wrong information. I'm so glad you're doing this for them.
Oh, thank you.
So valuable for them. They need someone to tell them what and how to navigate through this career.
I hate to say this, I'm just finding too many people are graduating from college and they don't even have the basic foundation.
Not knowing. That's right.
Not knowing anything.
We'll talk more about audition process.
Yes. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Say bye, Angela.
Bye.